Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday evening here with us on our YouTube channel. And if you're interested in the wisdom of Kabbalah, feel free to peruse our videos, and you'll find semester 1, 2, 3 as an introductory course here, all absolutely free. Isn't that charming? And if you're interested in the wisdom of Kabbalah, you can always go to Kabbalah.info and join like-minded people from all around the world. And there's probably a place around your town as well with a couple of people studying. In the interim, we're going to carry on as usual with selected excerpts, and we are on the topic of fighting the evil inclination and the selected excerpts from the sources. We are at item number 8. This is from Meshivat Nefesh, item number 40. If you have any questions, as usual, you can shoot them through. We'll try to answer them as best we can, and we'll see how things pan out. We have a half-an-hour session, so we'll be ending at 8:30 and joining the rest of Bnei Baruch for the Zohar reading as a group activity later on. Our sages said, man's inclination overcomes him every day. Were it not for the help of the Creator, he would not overcome it. Rather, man must only commit to strengthening himself each time anew and not retreat and not, just bear with me. Rather, man must only commit to strengthening himself each time anew and not retreat from this war or cause oneself despair under any circumstances. Certainly, in this war, it is possible to evidently see who is the winner, since the war is still long. The exile is intensifying, and each one experiences what he experiences. Yet, as long as we are holding our weapons in our hands, and our main weapon is the prayer, and as long as we do not cause ourselves despair from this war and keep gripping to our weapons, we are winning for sure. Since as long as one strengthens oneself in prayer and outcry to the Creator, he is winning the war, as this is essentially the victory. Well, this is nice, short and sweet, to the point, as we like to see and hear from Rabash all the time. Our sages said, man's inclination overcomes him every day. So it's obviously, our war is not against our evil inclination, as though sometimes it's written like that, because there's nothing really we can defeat with our evil inclination. The Creator has to do the defeating against our evil inclination. So what we have to do is to come to terms with it and accept that we are evil. Okay? So if we accept we're evil and we see we're evil, then Rabash says here, well, nicely as well, at this Meshivat Nefesh, it says we've got a weapon, and that's the prayer. Okay, so it means that we have to invite the Creator to be on our side to overcome our evil inclination. So trying to fight our own evil inclination will not succeed. Okay, it's not going to happen. So what should we do? Were it not for the help of the Creator, he would not overcome it. Rather, man must only commit to strengthening himself each time anew. So that's our work. And how we're going to do that? Well, we're going to do that with the environment, aren't we? Okay, so how can I receive strength? I can only receive strength from the outside. If I can't defeat my own evil inclination, if my desire to receive pleasure from myself is overcoming me all the time, every day, how am I going to find any salvation with myself? I simply just cannot do that. So I have to find an environment where the environment should support me so that I can overcome the evil inclination. And the environment should obviously help me to not retreat from this war or cause oneself despair under any circumstances. And this is what Rabbi says we must always give each other support and a good mood. Okay, because the last thing we want on the battlefield is lack of morale. All right, so everybody needs to give each other some kind of good motivation, support, strength, so that we can all move forward happily ever after, as they say. Certainly in this war, it is impossible to evidently see who is the winner, Since the war is still long, the exile is intensifying, and each one experiences what he experiences. So he's always giving us heads up, telling us this is not going to happen overnight. Okay. The creator doesn't like short relationships. He wants this thing to be an ongoing business. He has a long-term approach and a long-term vision. So he wants to keep us in the game. And in order to stay in the game, we have to understand that day to day, our egoism is going to increase. So the exile, that's why it's intensifying. So we're going to find it more and more difficult to be connected to the creator with all our strength. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be a long run. So we're here for the marathon, right? It's not a sprint. So as long as it's intensifying, but intensification is good. And at the same time, whatever I go through, it's okay, because whatever I'm going through should not be strong enough to throw me off the bandwagon, if you know what I mean. All right? Because the creator will never give you something you can't handle. All right? Life, sometimes people say, oh, I can't handle this. This is completely incorrect. Life can never, by logic and reason, give a person more than they can handle. It's illogical to do so. Just like it will be illogical for me to give children, my kids, let's say, is 5-year-old, I'm not going to give him 20 kilograms to lift and move from here to there. It's just not going to happen, is it? So by default, it's illogical to give someone something they cannot overcome. All right? Accordingly, we just need to stay, on the boat. Yet, as long as we're holding our weapons in our hands, and our main weapon is the prayer, and as long as we do not cause ourselves despair from this war and keep gripping to our weapons, we're winning for sure. So the only thing I can do is, no matter what I'm going through, is I have to turn to the creator, right? If I don't turn to the creator and whinge, that's not a good idea. What I want to do is I want to go through an intensifying period of many ups and downs. I want to go through a lot of them, actually. Okay. And I want to use all of them as a leverage to turn to the creator so that I can overcome my evil inclination. By doing so, I'm always in touch with the creator. All right. Does that make sense? Okay. So the only problem is, it's not that there's a problem that we're, constantly struggling with stuff. That's not the problem. The problem is always we're forgetting to turn to the creator, and that's a big problem. All right. So this is why we're also getting a bunch of problems, right? If we don't keep this habit of turning to the creator for everything, just, help me this, help me with that, help me with this, da, 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 da. All right. Then what I'm doing is I'm keeping him busy, aren't I? All right. I'm keeping him busy. And the more I keep him busy and focused on me, it's good. It's good, because I'm going to be constantly giving him a headache, which is the only time, if you give him enough of a headache, is the only time he's going to help you out. Okay, just like kids need to cry for milk, correct? All right, just like in life, no crying, no milkies. Okay, because mum's not going to know until you start screaming. Okay, so this is how it works out with the creator. If we want that light from the creator, we're going to have to bug him. So this is why going through a lot of ups and downs is good. So every time I go through states, I need to turn to the creator, help me with this, help me with that, connect us, do this, do that. Okay, so this is our only problem. If we don't do this, it's a big problem. Since as long as one strengthens oneself in prayer and outcry to the creator, he's winning the war, as this is essentially the victory. So if I'm constantly turning to the creator to fix the things that I see as need fixing, then I'm doing my job. If I'm doing my job, I've got nothing to worry about. Okay, isn't that true? So there's just one simple explanation here, Rabash is saying, or this article is saying, listen, you don't have to feel bad because you were created bad. The Creator created you bad. But as we're working in spirituality, we understand we're bad. We understand we're egoists. We understand we're selfish. We understand that's human nature. But if you don't turn to the Creator for help to fix it, then that's your problem. So if I'm doing my job all the time, turning to the Creator, then the Creator doesn't have much of a choice then to do his job. Okay? Because he's going to look at me and say, well, Mutlu's doing his job. So we've got to put the Creator to shame a little bit. Okay? And that's how it needs to be done. That way, the Creator will do, and he won't be in a state where he will reject us if we keep asking. Also, if you keep asking, you can also feel like you're doing your job because you're discovering a lot of stuff and you feel like you can't overcome it. Because every day we go back to self-love, don't we? We're studying spirituality now. After the lesson, 5 more minutes. Even now, we're thinking about, oh, what I'm going to have for a snack. I wish this lesson could be over quick so I can grab a snack. Where's my chocolate? All right. So even with that kind of stuff, we're always thinking about where we're going to grab some pleasure. So the Creator gives us more than ample opportunity to turn to him all the time. All right. And if we don't, that's a drama. Let's go on to item number 9. This is from Rabash, article number 380. Anyone who sanctifies the 7th. This is the second part of the article. Our sages said man's inclination overcomes him every day. If the Creator did not help him, he would not overcome it. We should understand why the Creator did not give us the power to defeat the evil inclination. But if this is not within man's hands, why does the Creator why does the Creator not do anything? In other words, why must one fight with the evil inclination while the Creator only helps him? But if the person does not begin the war, the Creator does not help him. Also, why does the Creator need man to make the war, and then he will come and help him? As our sages said, one should always vex the good inclination over the evil inclination. And Rashi interpreted, make war with it. This implies that first one must begin the war, and then the Creator helps him. All right, once again, this is also nice. Let's see. Let's read it again. Our sages said man's inclination overcomes him every day, and if the Creator did not help him, he would not overcome it. So once again, the same sentence. Let's not go over it again because we know about it now. But what should we understand? We should understand why the Creator did not give us the power to defeat the evil inclination. But if this is not within man's hand, why does the Creator not do everything? Why must one fight with the evil inclination while the Creator only helps him? But if the person does not begin the war, the Creator does not help him. So there are a few questions here. Why did the Creator not give us the strength to defeat our evil inclination? That's a fair question. You created us bad, at least give us the ability to defeat it, right? Okay. No. Because if he did that, we would never need the Creator for anything. And if we don't have a need for the Creator, who's going to connect with the Creator? We're not going to connect with the Creator if we don't have a need for the Creator. So if we were strong to overcome anything that we wanted to overcome in the first place, that the Creator set out for us, who would need the Creator? Do I need any help if I can do something on my own? Not at all. If I could do everything by myself, would I need to connect with anyone on the planet? Certainly not. Right. So what is the Creator trying to build here? He's trying to build here a connection with the created being. In order for us to connect, there has to be something called give and take. You scratch my back, I'm going to scratch yours. Okay? And this is how things work. So the Creator creates us in such a state where we actually need him. And if we need him, great. We can turn to him. Turning to him creates a connection. And this is how we connect with our children as well, by the way. This is why they're always nagging us and wanting something. Okay? Because if they didn't, we'd never connect with them. By connecting with them, by this give and take, we actually build them up for life. So building life is based on give and take. And if we didn't do that with the Creator as well, we'd never build a life in spirituality, right? So this is exactly why the Creator had to create us incapable of defeating the evil inclination. Does that make sense? It should make sense. The wisdom of Kabbalah is the only wisdom that makes so much sense, right? As a spiritual teaching, that it is freaky. It really is. All right, because everything else will just tell you to like believe in mumbo jumbo. All right. And this thing tells you, listen, man, this is how life is anyway. Don't you see this right in front of your eyes? This is how your relationship is with people, with your kids, with your family, with everyone. It's all a matter of give and take. So if you want to build something with the Creator, you better learn how to give and take his style. And his style is love and bestow, which is against our inclination, which is self-love and reception. So accordingly, in order to build that correct relationship, we have to have a correct attitude. All right? And we need to understand why the Creator created us in such a way. Also, our children need a lot of taking care of. Right? By the time they grow up, leave home, build their own life, in the 21st century, they end up being 40 and they're still in their house, in your house. That's how it is. 40 years old, still want to live with mom. Oh, cute. Okay. And that's just raw. Okay. Unacceptable. So the Creator wants to build us up. We also want to build up our children. We want to grow them up and then say, you know what, you got to go. You just have to go. It's your life. Give me a break. Okay? Get out there. All right. And this is how the Creator wants us as well. He wants to raise us so that we can stand up on our own feet in his reality. Right? So in this world, we raise our kids so they can stand on their own 2 feet to have their own life in this reality. So the Creator wants to do the same thing for us, for his reality. And this is why we have to work on it. And this is why we need his help, because our parents help us and adapt us to this world, right? This is how they raise us. They raise us so we can adapt to life. So the Creator wants to raise us in spirituality so we can adapt to his life. All right, that's the correct way to raise children. You can't raise children according to how they want to be raised, because they will just drive you nuts. Okay, and you'll be a very unsuccessful parent. You have to raise the kids according to how they need to fit in to the way you're living. You can't fit and change yourself to how the kid wants you to live. You've got to adapt the kid to how you're living, because the kid is coming into your system. Does that make sense? All right. And since you're living on this planet, you've got to adapt him to this planet. So the Creator has to adapt us to his planet. Well, when I say his planet, is reality, you know what I mean? Yeah. So ABC. And this is how we need to do the work. All right. So we have to fight the evil inclination while the Creator only helps him. So how is he going to help me? I need to work among the friends to understand what is bad in our relationship. If I understand what's bad in our relationship and I understand that this is from my intrinsic nature, then I can turn to the Creator and say, listen, I need a hand to fix this up. And only then can the Creator help me out. Right? This is how it needs to be. Now, sometimes a lot of friends say, well, I'm praying, and the Creator doesn't help me out. Do you think that's right? I don't think that's right. The Creator already helped us out. And this is where many of us fail to see that we already got the help. Because we have an environment. We've got books, we've got teachers, we've got the Rav, we've got Rabash Bala Sulam. We have a great environment called the World Group, and we have every opportunity to advance ourselves from step to step. So the Creator already gave us all the tools. So nobody can say, well, I'm praying and the Creator's not helping me. That's not true. He is helping. What we're not doing is using the environment correctly to get the help. Does that make sense? It should make sense. All right. If I'm a failure in life, is it life's fault or is it my fault? Whose fault is it? It's my fault, isn't it? It's my fault. I can't blame the world because I'm a failure. That's like, okay, that's a boom. Get out of here already. Okay. It's not going to happen. Okay. If I'm failing, it means I'm doing something wrong. So I have to figure out what I'm doing wrong and set it right. This is how this world works if I want to be successful anyway. Right? So in spirituality, if I want to be successful, I've got to use the environment correctly so that I can come to the right evaluation about what needs to change. And I can clarify the situation, understand the situation, understand what I am, who I am, and what I cannot do, so that I can specifically ask the Creator for what needs to be done, because it's beyond me to do what this needs to be done. All right, so that clarification of what needs to be done on me is my job, because I have to ask the Creator for the right things, don't I? If I'm 4 years old, I'm not going to ask my mum for, I don't know, a samurai knife to play around with. Okay, so that's not really going to turn out well. And she's not going to say yes, is she? All right. She's not going to even take me seriously. So maybe she'll get me a plastic one, but not a real one. Okay, so this is the same thing with the Creator. If I'm not clear on what I'm asking, then you won't get a reply, will you? It's just illogical. Same in this life. You see, everything, you can learn how the Creator behaves with us by just looking at life here, looking at our relationship. This is why the wisdom of Kabbalah is the only wisdom that says you can attain a higher level of consciousness, this consciousness of the Creator, by just working on human relationships. Where everything else, though, on the planet is waiting for some, I don't know, what, some man on a white donkey to come from the north. Everybody's waiting for the Messiah. He's going to come from the north, they say, on a white donkey. Highway number 5. I mean, does that make sense? They'd have you believe such stuff. Obviously, not going to happen. So life can only be learned by observing it correctly. And then I kind of copy this, Control-C, Control-V, copy-paste, okay, this reality into a format that should kind of match spirituality as my relationship towards a higher purpose. And this is the idea, this is where we need help, right? Just like with the kids. So to adapt them to life, the parents need to help them out. So the Creator needs to help us out. So our only problem is we're not really asking for the right things to be adapted to a higher level. So this is why people say, well, we're not getting any help. But if I use the environment correctly, I would know I already have the help. What's going on? Okay, we've got a question. Arena is asking, hi, how do I know that desire is for restriction? What desire is for restriction? Do I scrutinize it before I know it's for restriction? Thank you. How do I know what desire is for restriction? Well, I don't have to restrict anything. In Kabbalah, we're really not in favor of restricting stuff because it won't work out. What will work out is if you increase the importance of what you want to attain, rather than trying to restrict the things which you think are an obstacle to you. Does that make sense? In life, we do exactly the same thing. We make a calculation and we choose what's the more important one. Okay? This is exactly what we do in real life. So I just have to do the same thing in spirituality. If I increase the importance of spirituality, then all the other things are going to be secondary, aren't they? That's called a restriction. When I'm increasing the importance of spirituality, I have the power to disregard other stuff. Right? That makes sense, right? It is so logical. Okay? It's so logical. Even when I'm talking about it, I'm excited now. Okay? So all we have to do is really increase the importance of spirituality, and then everything else will just settle down. Okay? This is the most important thing. I'll actually be able to make much better clarification if I know what's important in my life rather than trying to restrict everything. Right? If I make something more important for me, I can arrange everything around that. Okay. But if I'm trying to restrict everything and I'm not like, then I'm going to be all over the place. Okay. So I have to have a clear-cut goal, and I've got to increase the importance of the goal. And then my life will be arranged around the goal. And then the only thing I'm going to be doing is taking from life what's necessary in order to fulfill my main goal. Doesn't that make sense? This is exactly how I lose weight. Okay. Because I make it important, so everything else is around it, and this is how you can do it. This is how you can also attain spirituality. By making it more important, then you can arrange your life around it. Then your life doesn't bother you. Because you're saying, well, I've got a goal, which is really important, and everything else I do is just a necessity so that I can focus on the goal. Right? And I don't do anything that's unnecessary, which is not related to the goal. This is why everything depends on importance. And if you do that, magic. Oh my God, it is 8:32. Somebody stop me. We've got to go to Zohar. All right, have a good one. See you guys next week. All the best.